Ready? This ad, taking this asshole with me. Be live.
Subscribe to my dog Kato.
My wife Kate Michelle.
Rest in peace, baby. Dogs that I call my friends, praying for all my friends, things I do for my friends. We miss you, okay. Started off two dogs with the same goals. Nothing but two dogs walking the same road. Two different cultures, but had the same heart. Enjoyed seeing the light, but lived in the dark. Fifth album bumped heads in the parking lot. Was a quiet brother, didn't like to bark a lot. Came correct, when he came, gained respect. So I gave respect, we shared the same respect. Two names a threat in our own circles. Two brothers with good heart, but if you start two brothers that'll hurt you. Know how that dirt do, hitting four corners. Right back up on us. God tried to warn us, but sometimes we don't see. When I first heard, I'm like, this can't be. Y'all niggas bugging, got the wrong information or something. Please tell me that these niggas is front. God knows. Dogs that I call my friends, praying for all my friends, things I do for my friends. We miss you, dogs that I.
Because I know for myself, I don't give people 100% me. And I know people, like when it comes to family or my significant other, they give me 100% them, and I'm guarded because I always believe that you can give somebody 75% of you, but there's always that 25% that doubts that they can hurt somebody's going to hurt you. And I've seen it, and it never fails that somebody has always hurt me, from if it was me telling them something or me showing them an emotion or something. It's just, so that question is very interesting. My mother, she was a single parent. She did anything and everything that me and my brother needed. And I come from a family of strong women. All the women in my family are strong. And that's what we know, is strong women in our family, to show us unconditional love and just showing us that all we have is each other. So my mother is the first person that I've ever come to love and to show me what love is. It might not have always been the best love, but it was love. But it molded me into the person I am today.
What's up?
I give love to myself just by, even if it's just going to get my hair done or my nails. My hair and my nails are two things that I always have, especially my nails. They always have to be done. But just like my birthday was last week, I spent $1,000 on just getting my hair done. Like, it's just something that makes me happy, and just feeling good and looking good makes me happy. So that's what.
Okay. What about for your family? How do you demonstrate love or show love?
For my family, I'm always there. I'm the one person that everybody that they count on, that they go to. And I know lately I haven't been the best person that's been showing love, because I've been so busy in my own personal life with school and work and everything. And I need to start back at showing my family love, because those are at the end of the day, those are the only people that I have. Because friends come and go, but family is always going to be there.
So what do you think was holding you back from being able to show that type of love to your family?
Just being busy. Like, I literally work 6 days a week. I have to take 5 classes. It's just, when I have time, I literally just try to recenter myself so I can be the best person I can be. And then sometimes I forget that my family is there. They're also supporting me, and I forget that sometimes.
Can you describe a time when you showed love but it wasn't received? That question is kind of like,
it is.
you know and that's in any capacity. It can be like from a relationship, from a friend, mom, dad.
I think when it comes to like friends, you can show friends that you really care for them, but they don't always accept that. They take it in their own way. Like they was like, oh, okay, you showing love or you're showing like you care, but it's just never reciprocated, because you can tell them about, you can talk to them about something that you're going through or something that they're going through, and they just don't, they may not grasp what you're trying to tell them or how it's coming off. So I think with friends, it's a very sticky situation when it comes to love for friends.
Okay. What about for your community, albeit your school where you work, things like that?
Well, for my school, I'm a dean in a high school, so
Respect.
I'm in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm the first person you hear. I'm the first person you hear. And throughout the days, I'm the person you hear in the hallways. If something happens, I'm the person that's always in the classroom before the head dean can get there. So I'm so understanding to our students and to these kids that's grown up now, because I've been there. I'm a person from our urban communities. Just that person that when I went to school, there was teachers and people that in the school system that cared, and I just want to give that back to the students, because a lot of them don't come from a caring, loving household, and I just want to like literally just listen to them and be like, you know what, I get it, because I've been through that, or I might have been through that, but I've seen it and I get it. I grow to love people, and I grow to love people, but I always feel like, I know it's maybe not intentionally, but it's always somewhere that somebody can always hurt you. So I've in 31 years of living, I've always seen that somebody can always hurt you, regardless of what you bring to the table, or if you give them your full self, that somebody will always hurt you.
Where do you think that stems from?
I would say growing up, like my father wasn't in my life, and I come from I have 5 siblings. Well, it's 5 of us altogether, and my father was in my 3 other siblings' life, and he was in and out me and my brother's life. And when I was younger, he came to pick me and my brother up one day. He came to pick my brother up one day, and I asked him, I was like, why don't you never take me with you? And he said, oh, because I have a boy at home, it's easier. And I always felt like that's the first man that's ever supposed to love me, and he doesn't even want me around. So that's where my guard has always been up from.
Thank you.
If it's between communicating how I feel or me just being guarded, it's always something that's holding me back from giving my all of me, and I don't know if I know how to give all of me. Now he's never done a crime in his life. Don't ever believe him. Okay. I have my Amex on for Amex Day. You already know. It's always been us 3. It's always been us 3. That was like our little triangle. And my brother is the first man I ever loved. He was basically my father figure, if you want to say that in a way. And because I'm a rebellious person, my mother used to always say, oh, whatever your brother says, you have to go and do it because he's older. And I'm like, no. But I will still always do it. And, I don't know.
Take your time.
We was different, but very similar. So me growing up with the learning disability, Arthur would come and try to help me if it was like writing a paper for school, or even if I had to pay him to write a paper for me for school.
Sounds like Arthur.
Just him being there when me and my mother used to argue. Me and my mother argued all the time. Just for him to, when you seen Arthur, you seen me. And the statement of me being his bodyguard was true. Don't ever breathe his way the wrong way. Don't ever look his way the wrong way, because I'm quick to snap. But that's literally my best friend, and even to this day that he's not here in a physical form, that's still my best friend.
Hearing the news that when he passed, like, I immediately went to that, and that hurt, because it was just like, wow, because I remember around that time it was WrestleMania. Whenever WrestleMania comes around, I always think of this dude, because his timeline will always flood with WrestleMania. I'm like, dude, we get it. And that particular time, I think I reached out to him about something, and he was known for like those quips, like, oh, whatever. And it just made me think about high school when he did Stutter, and he fell off the stage, and that was
very comfy.
Yeah. Very comfy. So if you want to speak to that, like, how did you feel when you got the news? Like, what was that day like?
I actually found him that morning, and I went to straight protection mode. Like, okay, what do I gotta call 911. I think the first, so basically that's that morning of my mother was calling him, and she's like, Shane, he's not answering me, go get him off for work. I said, okay. And usually if I walk towards his room, he'll pop up. Mm-hmm. And I used to tell him, like, yo, stop, your heart's gonna stop, just stop doing that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what do you want? He just always felt my presence, mm-hmm, coming in, so he would always pop up like that. And he didn't do that morning. I went to go shake him, and I'm like, all right, wake up. I'm like, Sonny, wake up, because that's what I call him. And he wasn't moving. So I go turn his light on, and he's like turned over. And I just screamed for my mom, he's not breathing. So she comes in the room, and she's like, all right, wake up. So I run to go get the phone, call 911, I let them know everything. And they're telling me, oh, okay, stay with him. We're gonna tell you how to do CPR. And I'm like, no, my mom's certified CPR. She can do it. I'll go downstairs and I'll let EMS and everybody else in. And like, okay, so they come, and I'm on the phone with my fiance. I'm like, Arthur's not breathing. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just like screaming, like, God, please don't take my brother from me. And EMS comes, and the cops come, and they don't let me upstairs. They're like, no, because there's more people gonna come. You just need to stay down here. And then the officer comes back downstairs. He's like, please go. He said, go upstairs and be with your mom. She needs you right now. When I left them, he was on the bed. And then when I come back upstairs, they have him on the ground, and they're doing compressions. And I just see his feet. That's all I see, because they wouldn't let me in the apartment. So when I finally do get upstairs, I just see it, and I'm like, okay, then I guess it was like the head EMS guy comes and says, we got to take him out. So they take him to the hospital, and my last visual of my brother's on the stretcher, and he pulls his arm out like this, like he got hooked to the door. And it was his way of, and he faced me, but his eyes were closed. And he's like holding on to the door, like he didn't want to let go. and his best friend went with him. Cause she lived up the block. She lived up the block from us, and she goes with him to the hospital, and they're just calling like, oh, we need y'all to get to the hospital. We need y'all to get to the hospital. And when we get there, we waiting for the doctors, and I go outside because I feel like I can't breathe. Like, it's just too much for me. And I was hoping to come back inside, and I look at her and the doctor's in the room, and she just shakes her head, and I just fall to the floor.
How are you coping?
I don't know yet. I relive that day every day for the past year and a half so far. Like, we literally just broke down his bed probably 2 months ago. I relive that day every day.
Take a minute.
Subscribe to my dog Kato. Rest in peace, baby. It's the king thing. Dogs.
I feel like when you lose somebody that's very close to you, and that means you're like, when I buried Arthur, I literally lost a part of my heart. Like, I literally felt like I buried half of my heart with him. And
what is love, and how you define it? What is love to you?
What is love to me? Interesting. I feel like love is the butterflies you get in your stomach when you see somebody, or the feeling you get when you're just in sync with a person. Or love doesn't even have to be with a person. It could just be with your own person, your own self. I think that's where we sometimes forget about, like, our own self-love, because we're looking for love in another person, and we forget to look at love in our own selves. So I think that's what I actually have a tattoo that says love me, love you, because I need to love myself before I can truly love somebody else. And I always felt like that. So that's, I think, where it comes from. Love, you have to truly love yourself first. And then once you love yourself and know who you are as a person, you can go out there and love somebody else.
This video recorded. Do you ever manage the way you give love? I know you expounded on, like, you give 75%. So what does that look like? What do you do but don't you do? What you feel like, I ain't doing that?
Well, I do so for me, my 75%, I do everything, but you just will never know that I'm just giving you 75% until it's time to get out.
You know what? That's not the first time a woman has said that. What does that mean?
Like, I literally do not know everything.
Lord, we don't need another mountain.
Like, this much of how I'm feeling, so what I'm going through.
Enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers, enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Even if I don't open up to them, if I tell them, like, of a situation,
that there's just too little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow